How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Black Metal Rebellion. I'm your host, Jesse Morgan, aka Slammerella, and we've got a box set to check out today. But first, here's the unboxing. Alright, folks, it's here in the mail. I know I was going to wait till the end of September to start recording again, but I couldn't not film this, so here we go. Here's the unboxing. Check this out. Been waiting a while to get this in the mail, because if you're a horror fan and you don't have some of these in your collection, well, I don't know how much of a horror fan you are, so we're gonna open this up and we'll talk about it in the main room. But yeah, let's open the sucker up. Oh yeah. So, looks like it's packaged alright. Has a, boom, has some packing bubbles in there. But what I'm talking about is, ooh, Universal Classic Monsters 30 film collection, plus some doubles I hear, from 1931 to 1956, so before even I was born. So yeah, oh, and of course Blu-ray, because it's before 1990, and anything before 1990 looks like ripped from VHS and is crap. So yeah, anything before 1990 we're gonna make sure we get on Blu-ray. But there we go. Look at all those films. Got a fat stack of them. Got a lot. So let's crack this open and take it to the main room. Alright, and as you saw, we got a really cool package in the mail. I wasn't going to come back here till the end of September, but how could I not unbox this for you and talk about it, especially if you're a horror fan, and that's what you come to this channel for, is a little bit of horror stuff. So yes, as you've seen, we got the classic Universal Monsters 30 film collection. Here it is here. Get a nice view of that. Here's the back. It's a thick one. Damn, she's thick. Yep. And then it's got a list of all the horror movies there. Give it a pause if you want to check them all out and zoom in. Very excited for this. It's odd that I haven't had more classic Universal Monsters films in my collection. Let's flip that over the proper way here. There's all the cases there with the movies in it. Looks really, really cool. They all line up fairly well and it's going to look good on the shelf. Now, the only films that I had previous was Creature from the Black Lagoon on DVD here, and this 75th anniversary edition of the original Frankenstein with Boris Karloff. I'll just give you a quick look at the inside and flip this around for you. So yeah, this was the edition I had of the original Frankenstein. Previous to this box set, these were the only two classic Monsters movies I had. So now that I have this, I'm stoked as a collector and as a horror fan. Again, if you don't have any of the classic Monsters films in your collection, I don't know how much of a legit horror fan you can really call yourself, because these are what started out a lot of directors and a lot of writers doing horror, and a lot of references in movies and stuff harken back to a lot of these earlier films, because besides this, in the early days, all you really had was the German expressionistic films, I think, and the silent films, because these were the first horror talkies, as they call it. So yeah, it's good to be reacquainted with where it all began, pretty much. Let's go through some of these discs and check them out, starting off with Dracula from 1931. Here's what the case looks like. And on the inside, you kind of have these flip over pages here. With Dracula's daughter and the son of Dracula, etc. And then, of course, on the back, Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. So I guess Dracula's in that. I'm probably it's probably gonna be a long time before I actually sit down and watch any of the Abbott and Costello related ones, because I don't find a lot of this dark black and white horror really gels well with comedy. Of course, I have to see it first to really judge, but I really don't feel like I'm going to enjoy the kind of cheesy slapstick comedy of Abbott and Costello trying to mix it with something serious like Dracula or Frankenstein or the Wolfman, whatever. So yeah, it's gonna be a while before I see those, but I'm really looking forward to the first Dracula here. Really looking forward to the Wolfman and the Invisible Man and stuff like that. These discs also come with a hell of a lot of bonus features too. It comes with the 1931 Spanish version of Dracula, which apparently is the better version. Has a Road to Dracula documentary. Has a Lugosi, the Dark Prince piece on here. Some sort of alternate Dracula score as well, and some other commentaries. So this is chock full of extras if you're super duper interested in. And the thing is with these, I'm aware that Universal basically stuck all of their legacy collection and Blu-rays into this box, and it's not exactly its own unique thing. The only thing super unique to this box set is the booklet that comes with this. So the only way you're going to be able to get this original House of Horror booklet is through this box set. And luckily I got it on sale for $125. It's normally 125 Canadian, that is, if you're watching this. So I don't know what that is in US dollars, probably 75 bucks. But yeah, it comes with this booklet with a bunch of trivia and information about each film and about the actors' struggles trying to live in monster makeup for 8 hours a day for a few weeks at a time. So yeah, it gives you also a rundown of what monster films were in the Universal collection and whatnot, and what date they're released at. So that's cool. That'll be fun to take a look at in my spare time if I ever have any. So glad that that's in there. But rambling aside, let's check out the next one that's in this, which is the Frankenstein collection. So there we go. There's the Frankenstein Legacy Collection DVD set from 1931 to 1948. There's the back there, if you want to pause and take a look. And then on the inside, again, all the films related to that. So Frankenstein, The Bride of Frankenstein, which a lot of people consider to be the better film. And then Son of Frankenstein, The Ghost of Frankenstein. And of course they're talking about the Victor Frankenstein, not the monster. And there we go, Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, which I think would be pretty cool. And then the House of Frankenstein and House of Dracula, which are supposed to be like Monster Mash films where all the Universal monsters kind of meet up and cross over. And then of course another copy of Abbott and Costello meet the Frankenstein monster. So that's all the Frankenstein ones. Let's move on to The Mummy, which I'm actually pretty interested in. There's not a lot of movies about the Mummy, and apparently the first Mummy is a main Imhotep storyline and the rest are a different mummy, so that's pretty interesting. So the very first Mummy I hear is the best one, and the rest of them with the other mummies aren't as good. So again, here we go. Here's the inside booklets, pages here. The Mummy, The Mummy's Hand, The Mummy's Tomb, The Mummy's Ghost, The Mummy's Curse, and then probably Abbott and Costello. Yep. Abbott and Costello meet the Mummy. And another thing I'm going to note about this is that all of the packages, when I got them, kind of had a broken part right here, and all the plastic was on the inside. And for whatever reason, on each one of them, it was just this part right here that had a kind of scooped, broken out piece. So a little odd. A couple of the DVDs, or Blu-rays rather, were separated from the back of the second disc, which I'll show you what I mean. So this was fine, but then when you flipped it over, this one was kind of out of the teeth and kind of over here. Two of the cases had that problem, not all of them, but yeah, I don't know if it was a problem with shipping or packaging or whatever. That happened for two of them, and then pretty much all of the insides had that little like half crescent moon thing on the side broken out. So I guess you could complain a little bit about that, but honestly, all the discs were intact. And one more thing I'm going to talk about actually before we move on and before people skip out of this is the back of these are actual Blu-ray discs. And I have a video coming up on my Sharp Hand Path channel. Maybe it's already released before this, but the backs of these Blu-rays are supposed to look like this. Not like what I'm about to show you. Not like this. You see how that's a different color than this, right? Yeah, this is a bootleg. And guess what it was from? Yeah, my second Shawscope. My second Shawscope volume box set. Someone took the discs out, kept them for themselves, made some shitty bootlegs, and sent it back, probably, to the seller. And the seller's like, oh, all the discs are there, it's fine, gonna reseal it and sell it again. Bullshit. So whenever you get a box set, a Blu-ray box set, make sure your discs look like this on the bottom and check them right away so you can get a refund and you're not outside of the refund time frame. And make sure they don't look like this or gold, because apparently burnable Blu-rays can be this or gold on the bottom. Not impressed. So yeah, CanadianHub.ca is dead to me until this shit's fixed. Don't buy anything from Canadian Hub. Yep, just a little quick disclaimer there. Make sure your Blu-rays look like this on the bottom and not this or gold. All right, moving on from The Mummy, we're gonna go right into The Invisible Man. I am a little less interested in The Invisible Man. I do have the remake that Leigh Whannell made. This one was a pretty good Invisible Man movie. I enjoyed it enough to pick it up on DVD, obviously, and it's a shame that the new Universal Dark Universe isn't going to be happening because, big surprise, Tom Cruise fucked it up, and the writer for that fucked shit up. I was really looking forward to a brand new Wolfman and a brand new Dracula, etc., and a continuation of the Invisible Man character from this, but it's not going to happen, sadly. I mean, I hope it does. I think Leigh Whannell was scheduled to make another movie in this version, but it's hard to say. And with the whole SAG-AFTRA strike going on still, who knows when movies are going to start getting greenlit and made again. So it's going to be some dark times for new movies for a little bit, I think. But anywho, Invisible Man. Here's the back. Not sure if I showed it yet. So anyways, here's the inside. There's the first disc. That's upside down. So yeah, it has The Invisible Man Returns, The Invisible Woman, which I hear is more of a comedy and like a slapstick thing and maybe a weird drama romance thing too. Why? Why do we got to do that to women? You know, just because it's a woman doesn't mean it can't be a serious horror film. It would have been nice to have a Bride of Frankenstein movie that was actually about the Bride of Frankenstein. Anywho, it's got The Invisible Woman on it. Probably not going to be that great. Then here's The Invisible Agent, The Invisible Man's Revenge, which I hear is a little better than the last three films. And then, of course, some more stupid Abbott and Costello shit. What do you guys think of The Invisible Man? Is he a neat character? Is he someone that you would like to see more in the future of? Have you seen League of Extraordinary Gentlemen? That's a cool kind of Monster Mash film. I should probably put that in there with my Monster Mash films and creature feature stuff here. Yep. Let me know your thoughts on The Invisible Man. It would be cool. Again, I like Frankenstein more, and I'm probably a little bit more interested in The Mummy and The Wolfman, which is up next. So here we go. Here's the Wolfman one with the classic look for what a werewolf's supposed to look like according to 1935 to 1948 Universal films. Here's the back here. Give it a quick pause if you really want the details in there. Disc 1, dedicated to solely the first Wolfman outing, and they kind of did that for a lot of these. The first disc was dedicated to the first installment of each one, and then the next discs are a lot of the sequels. So here we go. Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, of course, and then the two House films, House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, and then in this is Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, which I guess the Wolfman is in there for a bit. And then the last one on here has a couple of interesting ones. has the Werewolf of London and She-Wolf of London. Pretty neat. I have a Werewolf in London, I think, and I have a Werewolf in New York. Correction, it's an American Werewolf in London and an American Werewolf in Paris is those two films. But yeah, so cool to have the original black and white Werewolf of London and She-Wolf of London. Hopefully the She-Wolf actually has an appearance and isn't just something that's talked about and alluded to and never is seen on screen. Looking forward to the Wolfman series. Probably the second or third most anticipated out of these sets here. And the most anticipated out of this is The Creature from the Black Lagoon. I have the first one, as you already saw, but I've never seen the sequels. I hear they're not as good, especially the third one, where they try to anthropomorphize the creature, even though they're already an anthropomorphic fish creature, the Gill Man. So it's kind of weird that they try to do that to them, who knows? But yeah, here's the inside. There's no flip book. There's not a lot of films in the series, which is a fucking crime against humanity. There needs to be way more Creature from the Black Lagoon films, and not just stuff like The Shape of Water or the family buddy cop mystery called The Monster Squad, which I still need to get a proper copy of that. It seems that I get fucked over quite a bit when it comes to DVDs, because I had a copy of The Monster Squad and it skipped. It skipped 40 million times throughout the whole movie, no matter what player I put it on. I put it on the Xbox, I put it on a DVD player, I put it on the kids' Xbox, and it all did the same skipping thing, so I had to send that back to Deja Vu Discs. And I'm going to have to track down a copy of it, because anything with the creature in it I want. Even if it's Abe Sapien from the Hellboy series. So, anywho, yeah. The Revenge of the Creatures on this should be a decent sequel. And then Creature Walks Among Us. We'll see if I like it or not. Have you seen the Creature from the Black Lagoon sequels? The Revenge or Walks Among Us? Let me know your thoughts on them. I'm obsessed. I love the Gill Man creature, and I want to get that 60 or 80 years with the Gill Man documentary thing. I'll put it here. And the last movie that's on here is not the original silent Phantom of the Opera, but this is the in color one, Phantom of the Opera here from 1943. I'm not a fan of this mask. It kind of looks like he's trying to be the Green Hornet. If you've ever seen the old Green Hornet mask that isn't like the domino looking thing. Yeah, very Green Hornet looking. But yeah, here's the back, if you want to pause it and give it a look-see. And very lackluster inside. It's just black. I mean, better than being white, I guess. That's kind of boring. If it's a horror movie, it definitely needs to at least be black. And there's the disc there. Looking forward to seeing this one. I think the Phantom of the Opera is kind of a neat, intriguing character. There's a Phantom of the Opera with Robert Englund. I'm going to put a picture here. I need to see that one. And there's another Phantom of the Opera that I'm interested in called Dario Argento's Phantom of the Opera right here, which being a Giallo semi-fan, I'm not a huge fan of Giallo, not as much as Katie of the Night or the guy that does the horror shelfies, but I'm pretty intrigued about the Giallo genre, like subgenre of horror films. Very, very interesting stuff, and I do have a space up above here. You can't see it, it's on the blue shelf. For Giallo, it's got a couple of Argentos up there and one Fulci. But yeah, Argento does a Phantom of the Opera, and I wouldn't mind checking it out. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on this Phantom of the Opera. Do you like it the best, or do you like the talkie one better? And that's another thing with these classic horror movies. A lot of people played different monsters. Like Boris Karloff did Dracula at one point, and then later on was actually the Frankenstein monster, even though he didn't want to be... Sorry, not Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi. Bela Lugosi was Dracula for most of the Dracula films, but then ended up playing Frankenstein later on, I believe in The Ghost of Frankenstein, or meets Abbott and Costello, one of those two. But it's interesting how they all kind of flip-flop between who they are. A couple of the characters played Igor, a couple of them played a mad scientist, one of them played Victor Frankenstein, etc. You'll notice a lot of similar faces throughout all of these classic monster horror films. Definitely stoked to have this in my collection. looking forward to checking out all the films on here. Let me know in the comments section, if you've got this far, which classic monster is your favorite. Is it Dracula? Is it Frankenstein? Maybe it's the Mummy, because that'd be an interesting, underrated choice. Maybe it's the Invisible Man. I don't think there's probably too many Invisible Man fans. If so, shout yourself out in the comment section. That'd be sick to know. I know there's a lot of Wolfman fans out there, so I don't need to ask. But for me personally, my favorite is Creature of the Black Lagoon, then Frankenstein, then probably The Mummy, and then Wolfman. I'm really intrigued about Phantom of the Opera for some reason, and then Dracula, then The Invisible Man. That's probably my list of most intriguing classic monsters, in my opinion, list. So yeah, maybe I'll come back at a later point in time if you guys are interested and give you kind of a rundown of what was the best series and what was the best top 10 films out of the Classic Monsters box set here. Because when you get a box set like this, you kind of want to milk it for all it's worth and make sure you get that content. But no, I actually would want to legitimately talk about this a bit more. Again, my top 10 favorite films out of this whole thing, and then maybe what series was the best in quality, and what, if you're new to the series, should go after first and foremost to kind of wet your whistle into the old black and white classics Universal Monsters films. So yeah, thanks for sitting through all this with me. Really appreciate it. Hope you're as stoked as I am about this giant 30 film Blu-ray box set of the classic Universal Monsters. I saw this in Walmart years ago, and I just didn't have the $100 and whatever dollars that it wanted in Walmart at the time. Kind of glad I didn't get it, because again, I don't want regular DVDs of this. The quality probably wouldn't be that great. I want to see these old classic monster films. If it's going to be in black and white, it better be crisp as shit, and you can only get that with Blu-ray, especially with these older films. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you've made it this far. Clearly you like this video enough and this channel enough, so why not just subscribe so you don't miss out on future updates and metal and horror content. I've been your host, Jesse Morgan, aka Slammerella. Yes, we just did that again. Until next time, for glory, for the rebellion, Slammerella out. Stay spooky.